spectrum.
Okay, so we did the Mitchell spectrum, and the Mitchell spectrum is a it's a political theory written by Patrick Mitchell, and he laid this theory out in his book, 8 Ways to Run the Country, A New Rebellion Look at Left and Right. In this thing, he says that there are 4 main traditions that people follow when they are picking philosophies and stuff, and then he breaks down the 8 different philosophies and puts them into these categories. Okay, so now we have the puzzle awesome thing that you have in front of you. But okay, it's the 4 main ones, which are Republican constitutionalism, libertarian individualism, democratic progressivism, and plutocratic nationalism, which are in black on those. And then the ones in blue, those are the 8 different philosophies that he lays out in there. And you notice PA, AK, PA, and K written on them, and that's when you refer to P. Okay, so in green you have A and P, which means anti or pro, so for or against. And then if there's nothing there in green, it means they don't care about that. And then in red you have A or K, which is Archy and Kratos. Archy means they recognize rank, like that's how they have like their system, and Kratos is they use force. They use force to get them done.
So everywhere we see a K, it's force.
A means they aren't in favor, but P means they are in favor of it.
A green A means there.
Well, there's
Okay.
Okay. Republican constitutionalism is the ideology that the government inherits the power from the people and not through hereditary means. People who follow this are pro-anarchy and anti-Kratos. What?
Not anarchy.
It's like the pro-anarchy, really?
Libertarian individualism. This social group emphasizes freedom, liberty, and voluntary socialism. There's also frowned upon they also frown upon using threats and pressure to get other groups to do what they want. People who follow this philosophy are anti-anarchy and anti-Kratos.
Democratic progressivism. People who follow in this philosophy believe in that we should live by the people, for the people. We should have the same government. People who are democratic progressives tend to be anti-anarchy and pro-Kratos. Project. Is that it? Plutocratic nationalism is the theory that government should be ruled by a group of wealthy people, and these wealthy people are the representatives of the nation as a whole. People who follow this philosophy are pro-art and pro-Kratos.
Okay, now we break down into the 8 major philosophies that he categorizes under these. We're going to start first with the ones that are in the middle of the pieces, and those are the ones that strictly go under each one. So you see under Republican constitutionalism, paleoconservative, because that one only goes under Republican constitutionalism.
Okay, before we move on, I just want to make sure, you guys, I think it's pretty incredible so far. Are you guys connecting what we've learned in class so far to this? It's plutocratic, it's, Plato. I think it's Platocratic, isn't it?
Oh, Platocratic.
I think it's Platocratic. I mean, if you like if you look at Democratic progressives, and I mean, are you like connecting this? Make sure you're linking this stuff in your brain, because they purposely tried to set it up so you would understand these terms. Okay, go ahead. They're like, school or
No, they're not.
Republican constitutionalism. What is it?
Paleoconservative.
Paleoconservatives fall under Republican constitutionalism because they believe that they should keep tradition and limit the government. They also don't like federalism. They are pro-anarchy and anti-Kratos. Individualists fall under libertarian individualism who believe in the individual. They stress the individual rights. They value independence and oppose interference by the government. They are anti-anarchy and anti-Kratos.
Progressives fall under the category of democratic progressivism. Progressives usually favor social, political, and economic reform. Progressives are anti-anarchy and pro-Kratos. Neoconservative is just a new newer form of conservative. Neoconservative actually means new conservative. They promote political individualism and promote free markets. Neoconservative pro-market and pro-credit.
Okay, now we move on to the kind of harder part of understanding. On the actual pieces of the puzzle that would theoretically connect the puzzle together, you have things like under Republican constitutionalism, like theoconservative. Now, what they're written there is because you notice they are pro-archy, but they don't have anything before K, which means they don't really care what you have about, they don't really care about if they use force or not. So they are placed both under Republican constitutionalism and plutocratic nationalism. They go in both, so they are the pieces that connect the two together.
Paleo-libertarian. The paleo-libertarian is a philosophy that fits in both Republican constitutionalism and libertarian individualism. It is based upon libertarian hate of all forms of government. Paleo-libertarians are anti-Kratos and don't care about monarchies. Radical. It is a philosophy that connects libertarian individualism and democratic progressivism. Radicals favor fundamental change in our current practices. They are usually anti-right and don't really care about Kratos.
Communitarian is the ideology that connects democratic progressivism and plutocratic nationalism. Communitarians strongly believe in the connection between community and individuals. They don't really care about our community or Kratos. Theoconservative is a philosophy that connects republic, constitutionalism, and plutocratic nationalism. People who believe in theoconservatives are people who bring religion into conservatism and want to retain traditions and social institutions. They are usually pro-archy and don't care about Kratos.
Okay, so there is the puzzle that we made of the Mitchell spectrum. And that's pretty much what's in front of you in different colors.
Nice. Very nice. And did everybody kind of absorb that? Was it easy to understand? They had a lot of terms to deal with and a lot of things to define for you. And I really like the key. I think, although it just says there's a square, it doesn't care.
That means it's blank.
Oh,
Like there's nothing in it.
okay. Communitarian. I thought it was interesting that they don't care about archy. I understood that. They don't care about rank because they're community and individual combined. But it's interesting that, are they willing to use force then to maintain the community? Is that the idea?
I think, yeah, they're okay with if something happens, they're for everyone being together, being in the community, but they're okay if they need to use force to realign
Keep it
things
that way.
back. Yeah,
So it's like they're on the opposite end, obviously, of the paleo-liberals, and the paleo-liberals are anti-government and of course, anti-force, so that made sense, but I was like, really, so like, you're part of our community, or else?
Yeah.
Anybody think of any times in our history where we could have been communitarian? Times when we use martial law, definitely.
A lot of cults.
Willing to use force. What about the Civil War?
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. You're staying in. We don't care who you are. You're in the union. You're staying in the union. Matt had a question.
It says pro use of force. Who are we using the force on?
For using force.
Like
On who?
Whoever they want, like if you're
To-
acting out of line, they can use force against you.
Is it just like other countries or in your community?
Both.
To maintain their political views.
Yeah.
Like to maintain.
Yeah.
They use rank. The use of archy and karate is all in maintaining the political view. Anything on here that surprised anybody else?
Yeah, that the progressives no force.
And they're anti-rank. Sorry, I read that wrong. Anti-rank, pro-force. I'm like, whoa.
That's what I was like. Progressives is like about like I don't know, like
Peaceful change.
But you can see that. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily have to be force in that way. I mean, it could be force through legislation, and you do see some of that. So I guess, if it wasn't like It could be the use of legal force as opposed to going to war against each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Did everyone understand it pretty well?
Yeah, it was a very nice job. I was just like, wow, this is really going well. Excellent, nice job.
So you
I'm
guys
impressed.
come up with like the puzzle.
What?
That is
Good
probably the
job,
best I've
Brett.
ever seen that one explained, the best. That is